Let me welcome you to another chat on the L2X platform. My name is Henry, your host on this chat. In the last 6 episodes, we have been chatting about what behaviors help build trust as part of this trust series. We sought to answer the question, how must I behave to be trusted? If you have not yet seen any or all of the episodes, please take time and listen to them, because I have learned so much producing these videos. During our 6 previous chats, we have outlined several behaviors that make a person or organization trusted. We have spoken about forthrightness, transparency, demonstrating respect, keeping commitments, righting wrongs, the practice of accountability, showing loyalty, getting better, clarifying expectations, confronting reality, extending trust, and showing results. In the last chat in particular, we focused on the 2 of extending trust and showing results. Today, I'm bringing to you the final of the 13 behaviors of trust, and it is the art of listening first. I have met many people who, when you talk to them, you can see they are either not interested or in a hurry to speak. When you don't take time to listen before you jump into a response, you create a doubt as to whether you even understood what the person is trying to say. You come across as one who just wants to say what you want to say, but not interested in what others have to say. So whether it is someone sharing a tragedy with you, or you are just having a casual conversation, or you are even in a performance review conversation, first listen. You must have heard many people after a conversation saying, "Thank you for listening." Sometimes that is all you need at that moment to build trust. Just listen. There are various people and things you need to listen to. The first and most important person to listen to is yourself. Our conscience is an important part of our moral compass. It is related to what people refer to as gut feeling. Many of the time we receive nudges about our behavior or a proposed course of action. The more we listen to the moral compass, our conscience, the more it receives strength to guide us. The more we ignore the voice of our conscience, the weaker it becomes and could even die in us. Stephen M.R. Covey puts it this way: when you have a foundation of self-trust, sometimes the best voice to listen to is your own inner voice. Secondly, we must listen to others. Language is one of the most powerful things on earth. Look at this. When you travel away from home and you land somewhere and suddenly you run into someone with whom you speak the same language in a faraway land, it immediately creates an affinity. You suddenly start talking to the person as though you have known each other for a long time. This analogy underlies the power of understanding. Being able to understand someone in the language they are speaking can instantly create trust and bonding. This is the reason it is so important to seek to first listen and understand. What then happens is that you start to deal with this person in a language they understand. Now, when we enjoy only the sound of our own voice, we miss out on all that we need to know to relate with people in a smoother way. To be on the same page with someone, you must first listen. Listening demonstrates many things at the same time. Listening is a way of showing genuine care. When you are communicating with someone and the entire time they are fidgeting with their phone or looking away or they are talking over you, you feel disrespected, don't you? Listening tells the other person, "I'm interested in what you have to say." Listening actively says to the other person, "I respect you enough to give you undivided attention." It is really important to note that when we listen to people, sometimes what they say is not everything they are communicating. Words can never fully communicate our inner thoughts and feelings. Research shows that face-to-face communication regarding attitudes and feelings is 7% what people say. It's 38% how they say it, and 55% their body language. This means that when we listen, we must listen to words, including the tone and the expression, but we also have to listen to the body language. This means we must listen with our ears, but we must also listen with our eyes and our hearts. When we are in the company of others, we also must read what they call the room. This enables us to understand the forces driving what is being said and how it is being said. Heinrich Pierer, CEO of Siemens AG, has said, "Leadership ultimately means understanding people." One of the enriching experiences of my leadership journey is listening to people. At one point, I took a job in a new country and culture. When I started the job, I dedicated the first few weeks meeting and talking to various small groups of staff from various teams. I asked the same set of questions to each of these staff groups and took notes very actively. By the time I finished these listening sessions, I had gathered more information about the organization and the people than it could have taken me a year or more to gather if I did not speak to people. What these sessions did also is that it put me in a position where people knew they could come and talk to me and that I was open and transparent. This habit of setting time aside to listen to your colleagues, whether one-on-one or in teams, must be an ongoing practice. Listening first to people helps to remove misunderstanding too. Not listening to get real understanding makes us run away with assumptions, and many of the times the assumptions we make can be so wrong. Another important category of people we must listen to are the clients we serve. It is important to understand what our clients really want rather than assume we know what is important to them. Carrying out research before you launch a product is an important way to deliver what your clients really want, how they want it, and where they want it. Carrying out ongoing service on service staff channels helps organizations understand how their clients are experiencing their service and what more they can do to improve. When you listen to customers, you're listening for what matters most to them. When you listen to investors, you are listening for what most important on their agenda. When you listen to co-workers, you are listening for what would engage their interest and creativity. By learning and speaking the same native tongue as our customers, investors, suppliers, distributors, and co-workers, we are able to understand and communicate with them better, and this builds trust. Employee performance appraisal processes can sometimes be a very subjective exercise, and this could lead to massive trust issues in every organization. However, I've found that when you first start the conversation by asking the employee to assess their own year and period under review, they tell you what you're struggling to find the language yourself to describe. Taking the time to listen first in an appraisal conversation helps you understand the employee's own view and what challenges they have faced. And this enables you to approach the conversation with more emotional intelligence and thereby building trust. Let me bring this chart, the last in the series on trust behaviors, to an end with a quote from Barnes & Noble CEO Leonard Riggio. And he says, "I try to hear things through the ears of others and see things through their eyes." I would like to invite you to reflect on how you might use the act of active listening to build trust or rebuild trust. This has been me, Henry Bai, on the Lead to Exceed chat. Let me remind you, if you haven't watched the other episodes in this series on trust, there's a lot to unpack there, and I would encourage you to go back and listen to them. There's so much to learn. Remember to subscribe to this channel, because that's the way you know when we post new content, and hit the notification button as well. Share with others so they can also learn what you're learning. And remember, Lead to Exceed, inspiring leaders, multiplying impact.